Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Table Team. Hope everybody's doing well. Just witnessing a right game between Arsenal and Southampton. Southampton were 3-1 up with about 10 minutes to go. It's 3-all. 96 minutes. There were 8 minutes of added time, but there's going to be extra minutes on top of that to play as well. What a game we're watching. What an absolute beautiful game of football this is. Now, at first, when I thought Southampton were going to get all 3 points, my heart sunk being a Leeds fan. But it's 3-all at Arsenal. Southampton deserves something from this game, that is for sure. There's no doubt about it. But Arsenal being Arsenal, Gary Neville's changed his tune so many times through that one game. 1 minute he said that you're seeing a collapse of a relegation challenge, and then next minute he's saying I can see Arsenal scoring in next attack. I've never known as commentator go through so many different options. But anyway, how is everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. Right, well, before everybody else turns up, Tom Rogers, Southampton are fighting unlike Leeds. Exactly, Tom, exactly. So 97, 54, 55, but there will be added time because the player went down injured. Oh, that was a shot from Thomas Partey. He didn't need to do that. There's still time on clock. But yeah, they're fighting unlike us. Yeah, it's not looking good, is it? If you're a Leeds United fan, really. I'm not just talking about Southampton. I'm talking about overall with Leeds. Apparently, there's been rumours coming out today that they've got rid of that leader group or whatever it was called and stuff. There's all sorts of rumours coming out, and it's a mess. It's a total mess. What's happening at Leeds United at this moment in time? And we've got a difficult game tomorrow against Fulham away from home. Maybe that'll be a good thing for players. Maybe the players will be relieved that they haven't got their home crowd on the backs, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a good blessing in disguise for Leeds. But I know Tom, they have to put in a bit of effort against Fulham tomorrow. There's no doubt about it. Otherwise, I think we need 6 points out of the next 3 games. If we don't get 6 points out of the next 3 games, I think we're as good as Stam. Then we really are relying on other people's results. Do you know what I mean? Still playing on 99 minutes, and they're still playing on. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. There's 90 plus 10 now for Arsenal. Exactly, Tom. Is this a good point for Southampton? Will they see this as a good point? I think they will. I really do. I think even though they were winning 3-1, I didn't think they had. There you go. It's all over. What a great game of football! What an absolute great game of football we've just witnessed at the Emirates. I don't know if Southampton. I don't know if Arsenal will be glad or disappointed that they've dropped. Is it 1 point gained or 2 points dropped, Tom? Full-time 3-all. Yes, good point for Southampton. Are you joining us, mate? I've sent you a code. Tell me if you've got code, Lee, and then you can jump on with me. But yeah, both players are on the feet, and that's what Premier League's all about. Top v bottom, both teams fighting for different causes, giving 100%. But yeah, I think it's been a good game of football. Southampton can be proud of holding out. They've never, and Arsenal can be proud that they've come back into the game. Hello, Lee. Have I sent you a code, Lee? Let me have a look. I'm sure I sent you a code. Yeah, I have. He's here. Here he is. Here's the boy wonder. Now then, Lee, how we doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. I can't believe Arsenal drew against Southampton.
It's a point. It could have been worse. It could have been 3 points for Southampton.
Yeah.
But that 1 point for Southampton to show a lot of fighting spirit, didn't they?
Yeah, first half when Arsenal Southampton winning, I thought, wow, Southampton might win this game, but now due for all.
Looking at the Arsenal faces now, they don't look happy with a point. I
No.
think they've dropped 2 points, you know. And they have. It's table, they have dropped 2 points. I mean,
yeah.
So top of the table now. Let me refresh the table. Right, Arsenal sit top of the table. They're on 75 points. Played 32 games. Man City are on 70 points with 2 games in hand. Squirrel Grills, I thought Arsenal would have won. So yeah, I think everybody thought Arsenal were going to win. But yeah, it's a great point all round. Southampton now, they've played one more game at the bottom of the table more than Leicester, Nottingham Forest, League. But and it went off at screen really quickly. Then let me double check. Yeah, so Southampton are on 24 points. They're only 3 points off of 17th now.
Yeah.
So that point's massive for them. It's absolutely massive. Man City have 2 games in hand. That's a real issue for Arsenal. Yeah, and Man City have to play Arsenal as well, Tom.
Yeah,
that can be a big thing.
Yeah, Man City got Arsenal to play on Wednesday night. And
Wednesday night they play.
Wednesday night, yeah.
I'm doing no streams. They're out on Wednesday night. I'm looking forward. My eyes will be glued to that screen. Good evening, Inky mate. Hope you're doing well. So much for my 4-0 prediction. Yeah. Hiya, brother Lawrence, mate. Hope you're doing well. Hello, everyone from Lexington, Kentucky. Come on, you Irons. Yeah, great win for West Ham yesterday. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, brother Lawrence. But yeah, the Premier League table now, it's you know, the teams below the Leeds are fighting. You know, the Southampton shoe fight tonight. That is for sure. That really is. Crazy match we just watched. Exactly, brother Lawrence. Really good game of football. What do you reckon, Lee?
Yeah, first off, when Southampton win, when Southampton scored, and next minute when when it's 2-0 up, I thought Southampton win this game. But when it was 2-0, when the 2-1 to Arsenal, I thought Arsenal go to win this, but we'll feel.
A good point for Southampton, though, Lee.
Yeah, it's a good point for Southampton. I've been watching Arsenal fans.
Yeah, well, they won't have been happy with that. You know, it's like the all left stadium, you know, but then they come back in when it went to 3-3. They all come back in the stadium again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and I hope you're doing well, brother Lawrence. And just wait for Kieran to get his camera set up. Then brother Kieran will be joining us. Southampton ran out of gas at the end, and they could barely hang on for a draw. I think they did well to get a draw. Here he is now. Then brother Kieran, up doing well. How are you?
How you doing, boys? Way late. Let's do it. All right.
What a game we've just witnessed with Arsenal and Southampton.
Yeah, I woke up and I thought, shit, there's a Friday night game on for me, you know. So I woke up, I don't know, it must have been 5:30 this morning. So I got up and when I clicked on, I had to wobble my head a bit and look, but what? It's 2-1 to Southampton. I went, wow, what's going on here? And I went, and you know, we're all down that bottom and fighting away, you know, wanting everyone to lose, really. I didn't. I was cheering on Southampton. God, I don't care. Let them have the win. Let them have the win. Every time I watch Arteta, I hate Arsenal more and more. When he's jumping up and down that side, he really does my head in. So I was cheering on Southampton, mate. And when they got the third, I was laughing. It put a big smile on my face. So, go on, boys, good it to them. And you know, we had a chat last week about, you know, when people saying, you got to stay at the end of supporters. And I said, no, at the time, if you're getting beat like we were at Newcastle, getting smacked, I don't blame them supporters walking out the door, right? I didn't blame Leeds supporters last week walking out. They're getting flogged. This game, Arsenal were knocking on the door. They're 3-1 down. And if you look at around the 80th minute, there were empty seats everywhere. I thought, what, you're going for a league title here. It's only 3-1. You know there's going to be a load of injury time, so you've probably got at least 15, 20 minutes. And they're walking out the door. That tells me everything about their fan base. And they've done it before as well. They've done it against Bournemouth. Why would you leave that? You know you can score a couple of goals in that last 15, 20 minutes. You know you can. And they did. And all them people that have walked out the door, that just show you how fickle Arsenal supporters are and what kind of a fan base they are. That's why I don't like them. But having said that, you're right, Stuart. It was really enjoyable, mate. It was excitement right to the end. Arsenal diving around trying to claim every penalty they could get, falling about. But they knocked on the door, and it was great. This is Premier League. The very bottom of the table playing the very top. Another draw. A 3-3 draw for Arsenal. I'm delighted for them. Well done, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 draws on the top.
When they went 2-1 down, Zinchenko called an emergency meeting in the middle of the bloody pitch.
All right, did he?
The first time, yeah. Southampton ran out of gas at the end and could barely hang on for the draw. I thought they worked the socks off.
Yeah, they run out of steam a bit at the end, didn't they? You know, it was a hard task because they even changed it at half time. Southampton, didn't they? They basically went to defend it. They took the Alcaraz off and went to 3 at the back, and then you could see the pressure. It was forever pressure, wouldn't it? And like I said, they nicked a goal by that one corner, but that was it. They decided to do a Moyes and put everyone behind the ball and hold on to their lead. And then they got that third goal, I think that was a shock. Good. I like the corner, though. I like that flick on and boy coming from the back post. Good goal. If it's a set piece that they work on, really well done. But yeah, with the pressure and the teams with the scoring power of Arsenal, they can easily peg you back if you do that. You know, they really can. And like I said, they could have had the winner. They didn't. Which I'll just say, I'm delighted for Southampton to show that kind of fight, being down the bottom. And they've got one record. They're the only team to be bottom of the table and score 3 goals against the team that's top of the table. So, well done. Well done, Southampton. It's a shame it probably won't save them, but good for them.
Pressure's really on Arsenal now, though, when you can tell.
But I've been saying it for quite a while now, Stuart. There'll be a wobble in Arsenal. There'll definitely be a wobble in them. And here it's come. 3 games on the trot. You know, they've led in 2 of them by 2 goals and ended up with a point each. And then tonight, not been able to get it done against Southampton at home. And so if you're going to win titles, these are the games you win, isn't it? These are the games you actually find a way to win. And they haven't.
Arsenal's next game's Man City, mate, on Wednesday.
Yeah, see, it's changed. When they do play Man City, it's changed it, isn't it? Because before, a point for them at Man City would have been a brilliant point. It would have been, it'll do. Now, a point isn't good enough for them. They probably need to go to Man City and win. So it has changed.
I'll tell you something, though. Pepper be pleased that they've dropped 6 points in 3 games.
Yeah, I know. He'll tell you he didn't even watch the game or he's not interested. But he'll be absolutely delighted, won't he? That's what's going on. He'll just keep doing his thing. And as I say, you never know. Man City could have one of them games where they should win and don't. It could still happen. But they're usually good at going on a run, and I've always said that. Man City, the difference between Man City and Arsenal are probably challenging for a title maybe a couple of years ahead of their time. And Man City just got all the experience to go on a run and just put win after win after win, regardless of how tough it is. They always seem to find a way to do it. And Arsenal are a young team, mate. You know, so it might be, maybe a year too early for them.
Tom Rogers says that Leeds need Everton and Forest to lose and Leeds to get at least a point at Fulham.
Yeah, I think they will do. Right?
Nice.
You know, Lawrence. Yeah.
Hello, my love. It's hello, Hermione. Love, hope you're doing well.
Harmony.
Hey, Lawrence. Mally, stop coming on after the lead struggles. Mally didn't come on the extra time show because he wanted to leave that for Tom, but Tom's poorly, so it's just me, Lee, and Geezer. And Titch is tied up, I believe. So, if you've got us, those three ugly gits to keep you company tonight.
You got the three musketeers. What do you want?
Yeah, man. Mally, stop coming on after the leash. Did West Ham play yesterday? You know West Ham played yesterday. Great result for you, Kieran. I mean, Moyes' actions on sideline, he cares. He's sure like he cares, didn't he?
Yeah, of course he cares. He really does care, mate. And it's so bloody should. I said last week, Stu, this is his best opportunity to put a trophy on the ball for his whole career. His first sort of major trophy. So he cares. And no doubt the players care because it was a very good performance. A very good performance. Like when we've been struggling, I've always said this about West Ham. It's not, even though the effort's there's always too many players below par. And this has been happening, most of the season for whatever reason, for their tactics or whatever. And I've always said, but even with the tactics, there's still been, when Bowen's been out of form, Paquetá's been out of form, there's been Ben Rama, and there's too many. And that game, it was the opposite. There was a lot of people. There's probably 5 players you could pick for man of the match in that team that played so well. So, it was a big difference. And goals. And we got goals. What we've been struggling with all season, score goals, we were scoring them. And why not? And this is what my criticism was over Moyes in the first leg. He went there to get a draw. Well, I think if he'd gone with it like this, it could have been all over in the first leg. But he didn't. He decided to do it in the second leg. We probably put out the strongest team we can. On paper, that was probably our strongest 11 at the moment. And done the job. We started off really well. We just, Paquetá bloody gave a stupid ball away, as he does now and again. And they scored from it. But that's life. But the rest of it, the Declan Rice goal was a highlight for the night, wasn't it? That was an absolute cracker. That's, it put another 10 million on his price, I reckon. So, and Antonio had a good game. Bowen had a good game. Soufal was superb at right back. The only player I thought wasn't doing enough or weren't playing well enough was Ben Rama. I thought he had a reasonably poor game.
Souček had a bit of life in him in this game as well.
Yeah.
You play Souček in right positions, he is a threat. You know what I mean? But I still think Moyes has ruined Souček this season. He should have dropped him when he were out of form.
He should have done. He should have given that break, mate. And I think so. He didn't. And not only that was he not getting any better when he was playing out of form. He's had the crowd that, sort of. And I think everyone loves Souček, but now they start to turn against him, and it's not his fault, I don't think. If you keep putting a player in, you might just need a break to get it back, because you could never fault his effort. His effort's always been there, but some of the quality of it hasn't been. His pass has been woeful. He's been pretty poor, and I think he should have done it.
He looks mentally drained to me, Kieran.
Yeah, it looks a bit like that, Stu. And he's probably played more football than any of them players on that pitch. If include his international starts as well, which is nearly every game for 90 minutes. He probably has, and I think he probably does need a break. But you can never fault his effort. I just think maybe we got what we paid for. We thought we got a bargain when we bought him, and maybe we have. Maybe we got that player that's full of endeavour, not quite the quality you want for the Premier League, but you can't fault him. I like him. I just like the guy, and he's not playing at his best. And could we do with an upgrade there? Possibly.
Yeah,
There you go.
I agree. I agree. And like he says, take him out of the team for a while, but it won't happen. Take him out of the team, give him a bit of a rest, and then let him go again. After a bit decent rest, and see what he can actually do for you. Rather, you know, because he's been writ off already, Annie. Let's be honest.
He has, yeah. What?
Do you think Declan Rice, when he scored that goal, it were like two fingers to Graham Souness for saying that he didn't have it in his locker?
Is that Graham Souness or Keane?
I think it was Graham Souness. Both of them have actually called him for it, called him out, haven't they?
Yeah, I'm not sure what Souness said. That's all.
He said something about it's not the world's best midfielder. There's something we're missing from his game, and that it doesn't have that taking players on and find him back in it.
I sort of agree with Souness and Keane then in that regard, because we get carried away with Declan Rice is world class, he's the best midfielder, and he's not. I believe that there is when I can remember what Roy Keane said. He said he's not enough. It's not enough just to call him world class. He has to show it. And defensive wise, I think he can. But if he wants to be that all round midfielder, and he's, we're looking at the likes of Lampard and Gerrard, aren't we, for that? So you've got to add goals to your game, and that's what he's done in this game. But I think as a defensive midfielder only, he's quality. He just is superb, really great player. But if you want to be that box-to-box player, and I think that's what Rice really wants to be. He hasn't quite. I don't believe he's going to get you 10 to 15 goals a year. I don't think he is a box-to-box midfielder. I think he's a great defensive midfielder. Mm-hmm. So it depends what you look at it, I mean, when you see him play for England, he plays as a defensive midfielder, and he's really, really good. And if he moves to Man City or Arsenal, mainly that's what he'll be doing. He won't be parading up to the thing every 10 minutes or every 5 minutes. He'll have to defend and do a job for them, whatever job, say Pep Guardiola or Arteta says him, that's what he's doing. So, but I don't think his smile on it, you couldn't take the smile off his face when he scored that goal, could you? For 10 minutes. For 10 minutes after, he was still laughing and giggling about that goal. It was like, when you were about 10 or 11, I used to score, or even when I was older, I used to score as a defender about 4 or 5 goals a year, right? Average. And every one I was like that, because it was so rare to score a goal, mate. You had that beam of a smile. And he looked like a kid who'd just scored one of them goals. And he just couldn't get the smile off his face. So, yeah, it was good.
And anybody who doubted Rice's course to West Ham, he's squashed all them like a bug, because I think he's been committed 100% every game he plays.
There's every game, mate. Every game, 100% player. He's had a few games this season where, because that's the trouble with Rice. We watch him week in, week out, every minute of his game. And usually he's a 7, 8, or a 9 out of 10. And there's a couple of games he's been a 6, which, he's had an average game. And then people just think, oh, look, he's given up. He's not doing his best. Of course he is. Of course he is. He can't be, the best player in the team every week. He can't be that. There's no player that is consistent to that level, 100% of the time. But I'll tell you what, he is for 90% of the time. And if anyone questioned his effort, I don't know what they're talking about. I really don't.
I agree. But I'll tell you something, if Arsenal could have done with him tonight, honestly, Arsenal could have done with him tonight.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think he'd fit Arsenal very, very well. I really do, but... yeah.
How do you feel about him going to a club like Arsenal, Kieran? Would you rather him move to Man City or something?
Yeah, it's a tough one. He's been so good for us and such a good I've got to turn around. That sun's getting me. So, yes. If it's, I wouldn't deny him anything he wanted. If he wants to go to Arsenal, go. You know. Well, I think in my head, I'd probably prefer him to go to Man City or Real Madrid. Sorry. But I think Arsenal just looks like a really young side, up and coming. You know, they're challenging now already, and I think in the next couple of years they could be a force, and it could be a good move for him if he just wants to put trophies on the board, which he had said before. I think it's Man City would be a better fit. I think regardless where Man City win the league, they will get you a trophy. You know, probably every season you'll get at least one trophy. You know, where Arsenal still at the moment are hit or miss. They might win the league. No, they might not. They haven't got any other trophies to go for this season. Next season, same again. I think Man United will strengthen for next season. I think Chelsea have got to strengthen. They've got to get better than what they are now at basket case. But you know the money they've got, the potential they've got of changing it around. You've got Newcastle coming in to play. So Arsenal, as much as they could be a top 4 threat all the time, they might not be challengers next season. You know, they might not be. So, but with Man City, you know, they're going to be in that top 2, whatever happens. So.
I noticed that you didn't mention Tottenham and all that lot, but you've heard about Paratici, don't you? He failed his appeal, didn't he? And he's he's resigned on his own accord. So Spurs are now without a sporting director. All
right, he's walked away.
Yeah, and to put the cherry on top of cake, their beloved His Magic, Mauricio Pochettino has been in talks with Tottenham, with Chelsea. It's come out that he's been in talks with Chelsea to take the job on. So Tottenham, as you know, their relationship with Chelsea ain't good. So everyone's been saying His Magic, every time they've been losing since Conte left, pleading for Pochettino to come in and save them. He might be going to Chelsea.
Wow.
Pochettino, It hasn't been Tottenham's week at all.
Good.
So I thought that might cheer you up a little bit.
That's brilliant. That's good to see. Yeah. No, they're another basket case, aren't they?
Yeah, but, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I thought, it's what. I mean, I keep asking myself, what purpose are Tottenham really? They don't finish in. They very rarely finish in Champions League places. They seem to sack the manager every 18 months when it don't work out. They brought Mourinho, Jose Mourinho into win trophies. That didn't work. They brought Conte in to win trophies. That didn't work. So where do they go from here? It's madness what's going on when it comes to managers in Premier League.
It's a bit like what Man United have done over recent years, haven't they? They've just trying to buy a manager to they'll sort it out, is it? And it seems to be problems run deeper in the club, or there's more behind the scenes. Look, what can't they call Tottenham out? The culture of the club, he's never seen anything like it. It's ridiculous. And he called them out. He basically resigned on that little speech. They weren't happy. The attitude of the players, the attitude of the club, whatever. That's what the impression I was getting from what he was saying. Even though he's probably a bit to blame himself, the results. But he just thought the attitude was wrong there. They weren't hungry enough. And to me, when Arsenal brought in Arteta, that was a punt. That was a gamble. Forget the Mourinho's and all these old managers that you think's going to save your Contes. They went with a young progressive manager who's just done an apprenticeship with Pep Guardiola. This is you think, well, and I actually fancied Arteta myself for West Ham at the time when there was talks about him. I said, why not get him? Why not give him a go? If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. But he might just bring you something. And I think Arsenal looked at the long term, because at the beginning it weren't good. They were still bad, Arsenal. They were poor. They were losing games, leaking goals. But he stuck with what he believed in. He got rid of what he needed to get rid of, which is like a Lacazette and Aubameyang and all them players that are holding Arsenal back. And he's got a young side. And he has built something there. They're wobbling now, but they're still a bloody good side and young.
Yeah.
Young side, mate. So they looked at the long-term project. Tottenham didn't. They just put in plaster over big holes. And they're back to where they started. Absolutely back to where they started. Now, who's going to go in? Chelsea have done the same. So, but Chelsea, if they get Pochettino in, I think they've got a far better chance of doing well next year than Tottenham have.
I agree. I agree. Lawrence says the boys are showing life lately. I agree with that. Big Mally's in the house. Hiya, Big Mally, mate. Hope you're doing well. No, Lawrence, I stopped doing Fridays to make room for TD5. I'll be back on Monday, buddy. And then he says, Lawrence says, Mally, Monday's bad for me due to work. Need you on Fridays. I like your insight. Thanks for your kind words, mate. Appreciated.
Yeah, they are kind words because he talks a lot of bollocks, Mally. I'm not having it.
I would rather he left the Premier League. Love Rice and hard to see him on another Premier League team.
I'm not joking, Mally. Don't come back at me. Don't worry. I'm only taking a piss.
Lee left to put his West Ham shirt on. His West Ham kit on, and Big Melly says, close, Lawrence. No, he's got his Miami Hammers shirt on. It's his vest. It's his Bruce. He's going for Bruce Willis look. You know, that boy watches too many old films. But yeah, so I've caught up with chat. I'm going to talk to you about this. You know, do you now think West Ham are safe now, Kieran?
No.
In Premier League, no.
No, we're not safe yet. For sure, we're still part of it. We're in a good position. If you look at our form lately, it looks better than a lot of the teams down there.
It does.
But like I said when I put out my super plan to you, Stu, about beating Southampton, about beating Fulham, losing to Newcastle, losing to Arsenal, that's the one I got wrong. We nicked a point. So I'm 1 point ahead of where I thought I'd be. And but Bournemouth was part of that plan, which is this weekend. We need to beat Bournemouth. Even a point wouldn't be disastrous after getting that point with Arsenal. But part of that plan to stay safe was beating Bournemouth. So I think this game at the weekend is the crunch game. If we win that, yeah, I believe we're staying up. You know, we'll get enough points after that, an odd point here, an odd point there. You know, we still got, Palace, yourselves, and Leicester to play. So, yeah, if we beat Bournemouth, I believe, yeah, we'll be fine. I'll be more confident. Let's put it that way. I'll be confident we're staying up.
I think
but I'm not there yet.
Surprised me. Bournemouth has surprised me with how well
they've been
playing.
They're a good side. Tough side. Yeah, I like Bournemouth. I don't think they'll go down myself, Bournemouth.
No, I don't either.
There's more chance of Everton and Leicester going down with Southampton and Forest than Bournemouth. You'd think that they'd be one of the favourites to go out at the performances they've been putting in. They don't look like a relegation side. So, where at the moment Leicester do, Everton do, Forest do, and until tonight Southampton do.
And Leeds as well. I put Leeds in that category
and Leeds.
as well.
Well, they are because you have to because of their them two results, home results you've just had. They've been horrendous. So they've got to turn that round real quick because they're on the edge. I think Leeds are on a knife edge at the moment because you can't rely on your recent form. If I say what we've got a bit more confidence that our recent form, when you look at the points we picked up and the performance against Arsenal, it's looking better. Where Leeds are looking worse from two really bad home defeats.
Your form's turned for me since January. I think from January you went. I know you didn't win every game, but you went unbeaten, and I think you had a really good January, and you've been able to continue that form onwards. Now the worry I've got, Kieran, right? You're an ex-footballer, right? His form something you can turn on and turn off like a tap. I don't believe it is. I think you're either in form or you're out of form.
Yeah. Well, good games breed confidence. And this is, you've got to remember, being in good form is all part, confidence is all part of it. You're confident going out there that you can get something. And West Ham are playing with, as bad as they've been here, like the Brighton game, the Newcastle game, there's a bit of confidence about the team that they can get a result.
Yeah.
Moyes has targeted the games he needed to win, playing dire football, defending like mad, but nicking the result. And he's done it. As horrible as it is to watch, he targeted the games he needed to get points from. He knew what they were, as I knew what they were. It was Everton, Southampton and Fulham. And Bournemouth is another one, even though I think he'll look at Bournemouth saying, away to Bournemouth, I think he'll take a point. I don't think he's going to be as attacking as I'd like him to be, like against Arsenal, like against Ghent. I'm not too sure he'll be that in this game, but I'm hoping he might. I think he'll take a point at that and go, yep, no, that's a good point. But I'd love to win that game. I'd love to take 3 points. I'd feel so much more confident for staying up with 3 points there. But yeah, confidence breeds good form, I think, in a team. If your heads go down, and that's easy done, especially for Leeds players now, being slapped by 5 goals, within a week, 2. Yeah, it takes a real hit on your confidence, and you need to get over that somehow.
I agree with you. I agree 100% with everything you said. The Saints were brave tonight, sometimes with 2 up top. I am old enough to remember Don Revie, and the defensive attitude is not our style. It never has been. And then Big Mally says, you need confidence as a team rather than individuals.
Yes, big game changer.
Bournemouth is a solid squad. Love 3, but one. I agree. I think any result you get from that Bournemouth game is massive. I really do believe so. I'm going 2-1 Hammers. I'm not so confident as going 2-1 Hammers. I think it's possible, but I think more than likely it'll be a draw.
I think, and that wouldn't be the worst result, Stu. So I wanted to win this game. I just don't know how Moyes is going to go about it. I got a feeling he's going to revert back to keeping it really tight. It could be a real boring first half, and hope not to concede and then try and nick it. I think he's going to go back to that because it's worked for him in the past. It worked against Fulham, and I think that's what we'll see. So the chances then, if he does that, the chance of winning it are less, but he's got more chance then of getting a point, which I think he'll take.
See, Leeds' season is in our next 3 fixtures. Fulham away tomorrow. Then we've got Leicester at home. We've got Leicester at home Tuesday, and then a week on Sunday we've got Bournemouth away. I think the next 3 games we need 6 points.
Absolutely. I mean, it's 3 6-pointers, isn't it? All in a row, all within a week. Yeah, it does. It does define your season. If you lose all 3 of them, you every chance you're going because you're giving 3 points.
Relying on Everton and stuff to be
but you're giving 3 points to all the guys you're battling against, aren't you? You really are. You can't be doing that. You've got to get something out of them games, even if it's 4 points. Even if it's 4, you've got to get a couple of results and take points away from them. That's just as important as you getting points, is stopping them getting points. So, not so much Fulham, right?
Yeah.
Not so much Fulham don't come into that crowd, but the other 2 do, don't they? But Fulham are beatable. And that's the thing. They are beatable. And if you get a result out of that, that's a real bonus. It's a real bonus. You that would be a great win to start with, wouldn't it?
Bandy says that I am not sold on our top goal scorer Rodrigo or our midfield maestro Rocker. I think the thing with Rodrigo is his first game back, coming back from a long injury. He wasn't going to. He was bound to be rusty in that game. There's no doubt about it, Bandy. But I think Rocker and McKennie are worrying me a bit, Bandy. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Aronson tries, bless him, but he's just not. He's not built for the Premier League. What I mean by that is, I don't mean his height. I mean his body strength. It doesn't seem to be there. Um, and Big Malice says that he dropped Rodrigo Fernando. I don't think he'll drop Rodrigo Mali. I think the only time Rodrigo gets dropped is if Bamford's fit. And I don't think he'll play Nonto. I think he'll start Nonto, but I don't think he's going to drop Rodrigo for Nonto. That is for sure. Amani thinks that you're going to win 2-0 tomorrow.
Oh, mate, yeah, that's optimistic in my mind, but Harmony, that's possible if we play the way we did against Arsenal again. If we take it to them, we can beat them 2-0. There's no reason why we can't. Why I'm edging my bets is because I think Moyes won't. But maybe he's seen the light. Maybe he's seen the light because the last two games is everyone thinks, where has that West Ham team been? It's always been there. We just haven't played it like that. You know, we've not played to attack. We've decided to defend first, attack second. And against Ghent, which I always thought would happen. Now, I remember Inky asked me last week, do you think we'd win? I said, yeah, I thought we'd win 2 or 3-0 quite comfortable. And because, we had to. You can't defend the second leg. You've already done that. You got you got your draw that you wanted. So obviously the plan is to get them at home and beat them and actually take it to them, which we did. And really, they were not much of a threat. I think they had that goal, which was sloppy as, and they had one other chance, and that was it. They weren't in the game because, guess what? We're about 5 levels above them, and we showed it in the game. We didn't in the first game. We let them play, and they were dangerous. This game, we didn't. We attacked them, put them on the back foot. The 2 strikers were hardly seeing the ball, and that was it. And same with Leeds. Leeds are more worried about their front scoring goals. What they should be worried about more, for me, is stop conceding goals. You've got to stop conceding all these goals. Who you play at the back is more important, or how you set up, because you can't win. You can't expect to score 3 goals every week to win a game.
Well, when we lost 5-1 to Crystal Palace, the Leeds fan base were, and I'm one of them, dropped Bamford and drop Ayling. Gracia did that against Liverpool. He played Rasmus over Ayling, and he played Rodrigo over Bamford, but that's mainly because Bamford picked up a calf injury. And that still didn't work. We still conceded 6 against Liverpool. So I'm thinking, so no matter what Gracia does with that back 4 line, you know what I mean? Now, I even think he's puddled of what he can do. You see, he inherited the side.
Exactly. That might not just be good enough, Stu. What do you do then as a coach? If you think the players you've got out there are not really good enough, but you've got to play them, what do you do? It's a tough one.
You see, this is the first time, I believe, that since Leeds got promoted, that we're actually starting to dislike the players for being players. They let Bielsa down. It was Bielsa's fault. It was Marsh's fault. They let Marsh down. Now they're letting Gracia down. I think it's now time where the fan base is actually looking at these players and saying, "Do you know what? You guys on that pitch are the problem and not the managers." Jesse Marsh, yes, he was technically inept, tactically inept. I get that, but you can't. These players have gone through 3 different managers, and they're still making the same mistakes. We're still conceding over 2 goals a game. So it's got to be. It's on the players. This is why I don't want anyone to point the finger at Gracia for. It's not his fault. If you're going to point the finger, point it at the players and point it at the board members. who's put Leeds in this position for not sorting out that back line. Which you see, some of them players, we've had them in Championship. You know what I mean? We've never addressed it really.
Yeah, exactly that, Mike.
Lawrence says Amani's the smartest person in his chat. Yeah, that's why she's my moderator for. I picked wisely, Lawrence. I picked wisely.
I think that's another kind comment. I'm not so sure.
I agree, he agrees with you. McKenna as a 10 might work for us. He is very good for the USA in the world, in the World Cup, in World Championships. I agree.
He better be better than what I've seen. Hey? Jesus.
There's a difference. There's a different level. Premier League is a different level to any other league in world. It's a different level of quality, and some of these players simply aren't cut out for Premier League football. And that's the truth. They're not. They're really not. I mean, you know, you've got the problem we've got is, you know, one of our Luke Ayling been a fantastic servant to Leeds, but he's got a bit older, and his concentration level isn't at what it used to be, and he can't. The problem is we can't concentrate for 45-minute periods. We just can't do it. And that's what, you know, and it's costing us, and you know. It's there's no Grassi he can do about this. Nothing he can do. The players have got to want to pull up the socks and put in the performance.
You just got to die for it. Hey, I mean, you can look at Southampton tonight. You can see, you know, a lot of their players aren't real Premier League quality either, you know. But what they were trying, they were running, they were trying. They were trying their hardest, trying to get something out of the game, and they probably, you know, they've got one foot in the Championship already, haven't they? And you know, they nearly pulled off a shot, which they have pulled off a shot. They got a point at Arsenal. Any other day of the week, that's brilliant, but Southampton need probably more. But yeah, it's you can see sometimes the quality isn't there. It's just about effort and grit and trying your hardest. If you've got that in your team, then you could get points where you're not meant to.
Well, these are tomorrow's fixtures. We've got Fulham versus Leeds at 12:30 UK time. And then these are the rest of games tomorrow are all 3:00 UK times. Brentford v Aston Villa. Crystal Palace versus Everton. We desperately need Crystal Palace to beat Everton. We both do. Leicester versus Wolves. I think we need Wolves to beat Leicester.
Yeah.
Wolves are out of it now.
Yeah.
And then final game on Saturday is Liverpool v Forest. We need Liverpool to put in a shift.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, mate. You know, so yeah, there's some. Yeah, we do need Wolves to win, and we want Palace to win. That's for sure. If they can win them games, that gives us a little bit more sort of breathing space if we do lose. You know, if Leeds and they haven't gained on us, that's really important. But it's like we've seen tonight, any old result can happen. You know, any old result.
Inky says, I've said all along the Leeds problem go back to when they didn't invest in the second season back in the Prem. I agree, Inky. I agree 100% with you, mate. Bandy Fanowski says, long live Bielsa. Even after a defeat, people would leave the stadium feeling that they had been entertained.
Absolutely, Bandy, mate. I was watching Leeds with Bielsa. I was entertained, I'll tell you that. Even if it was 4-3, or whatever the score. It definitely was entertainment. I'll give you that, mate. You did enjoy watching
it. Big Mally says that Verba will be huge in bringing back some confidence to the team. You see, this is it, Big Mally, mate. We're relying on one player, aren't we? Now Verba will bring confidence. You're 100% right, but can he marshal the whole of the back four? I think he can talk to them, but can he cut out their problems? That's down to their individual players to sort them out. He can only encourage them. I think we're missing Tyler Adams as well, if I'm honest. I think Tyler Adams is a leader. We ain't got no leaders. That's our problem. Verba's the leader. Yeah. Tyler Adams is a leader. and of course Liam Cooper's the leader. But you know, Garcia obviously don't fancy Liam Cooper.
Yeah, you need leaders, mate, don't you? You need people to drag you up, especially when you're down the bottom. That's when leaders come through. That's when they're at their best, when things aren't going well. So you definitely need that. But stop leaking goals. This is what you've got to start with. I don't know how you do it. You might have to go to Moist tactics and put 8 behind the ball. I don't know what the best way is for Leeds. Horrible to watch, but you need something to be effective. And like us all, we need other results to go our way. If we're not going to win all the games we'd like to, we have to have other results go our way.
Koch will improve having Verba back. He should be confident having an experienced player next to him. But Koch should be he's a German international. He should be good enough with or without Verba there anyway. But I know what you say, Big Mally. Love Mally to shift the conversation back to Leeds. Respect, yeah. After this season, do you think Leeds should play? Oh yeah, definitely. I think Victor Hart should go, and Angus Kinnear should go. Do you think that you should replace Victor Hart as director of football, or do away with the role of director of football altogether, or something else? It depends on the manager. It all depends on the man. It all depends on the manager. Tom, Pochettino didn't have a sporting director. Pochettino were basically in charge of building Tottenham to be competitive, and that's what he did. To be fair, when he had Dali Toby Alvarez and stuff, he built a squad to compete. So yeah, you're right, but it all depends on what sort of manager you want, what sort of direction you want your club to go in. I guess that's down to 49ers to decide what they want to do if and when they take it over. Big Mally says, got to balance the chat, Lawrence. It's a beautiful chat. Personally, I would like to go back to the British system in which the manager controls the transfers. What do you think about that, Kieran?
I think in this modern day, like, I remember John Lyle at West Ham, you know, one of our probably the most successful manager we've had. And he'd have hands on everything, but he'd watch the kids. If he was making a sign, he would drive up to bloody Newcastle if he had to and go to that guy's house, you know, and talk to him and his wife and tell him what he wants from him and what he wants to offer him. Really hands-on, really personable to every player that he ever brought in. You know, and that's a wonderful thing. But in this modern day and age, of this Premier League, you have to look further afield than that. And he used to scout every player he wanted. And and then he'd have his own scouts to tell him, now you need more, because it's a world game, really, the Premier League, isn't it? The percentage of players from overseas is amazingly big. So you need an analytical department, like, say, Brighton have. You need to source these players that are up and coming for whatever reasons, their stats. It's all part of it now, because just going to have a look at them, you know, an odd game isn't enough. It isn't enough. You need to know whether they can handle the Premier League or what their temperament's like. It's taken on another level. And I think Moyes he likes to be in control of everything when it comes to trade. But I don't think it's the way forward. If these other teams have got this in place, where these players from, you know, all over Italy and Czechoslovakia or Russia or Ukraine, or you need a bigger thing than you. You can't do it. You're never going to see that player. You're never going to notice him. So it's taken on it's a different world now. And to compete with Man Cities and that are doing that, that's sort of what you have to do. You have to have like we brought in, what's his name, to do this, who was at Man City. And Brighton apparently
Rob Newton or something.
Newman. Yeah, Rob Newman. Yeah, he's supposed to be our head scout or whatever you want to call him, who looks into stuff like that. So yeah, it's hard to know at the moment. Yeah, like I say, Brighton seem to have a template that works. With that, they don't leave it to the manager. They source the players. They get the players. They line up players, 3 or 4 picks for every position in case this boy gets really badly injured or he wants to leave. And they seem to be, bringing in a player without any fuss. And it's working really well for them. So it looks like that's the way to go.
Yeah, same with Brentford as well. They've got a similar system, and now they work as well.
Yeah. Brentford don't even have an academy. They don't bother with that. You know what I mean? They source their players from member, and they've done really well at Brentford too. The players they've sold on is unbelievable, and made loads of money out of it.
Sign of a well-oiled ship, innit? It's and Big Mally says here. Big Mally says here. Where am I? I will come back to your comments. These days, the director of football has to say in who the coach will be. Absolutely, Big Mally.
Yeah.
Lawrence says we need a win on Sunday because of our upcoming matches. Yeah, you need a result. Yeah. Definitely need a result.
Yeah, it's one of them. It'd be great to get a result. Not a loss. Say a draw wouldn't be terrible. And then we need to do what we did against Arsenal. We need to pick a result up against a team we're not meant to. This is what can save you. Liverpool. We've got Liverpool, Man United coming up. We're not expected to win any of them. But what if we did? It changes the game completely, doesn't it? Basically, if we beat one of them, we're basically safe. So
I agree. Big Bandy says, "He who dares wins." Love funny fools and horses. Let's attack and get more goals than the opposition. That's the problem. Is with us, though, Bandy. We do try to attack and we leave ourselves open at the back. You know what I mean? We need to. I think we create chances. It's just we don't finish them. That's our problem. We need to convert more than we score than we're actually scoring. Amani says I am going for a very scary 2-1 lead. Very scary. Is that scary 2-1 win? I hope you're right, Amani. I really do. I say West Ham needs 37 points to be safe. Thoughts on points to be safe. I think about 30. Yeah, 30. About 38. I say.
No, I think it's lower. I think it's 35. I really think 35, 36. Wow. I wouldn't like to say let's just get to 35 or 36 though, Stuart, because things could bloody change real quick, right? But I just think this season, whoever finished fourth from bottom, if they've got 36 points, I think that might be enough. But like I say, you can see results like Southampton tonight. I was just looking at the fixtures as we did last week, and if everything went to form, I think 35, 36 points is enough. But as we've seen tonight, not everything goes to form. Any of these bottom clubs could just bring out a performance and beat a team they're not meant to, and that's what it'll boil down to. But I think it will be low this year. If you got anywhere near 40 points, you're laughing. 38, 39, no way you're going to get caught. But I just want to see that 35, 36 points, whether it is enough. I think I've got a feeling it might be.
Big Mally says Stu knows all the Hammers staff. I know a couple, Big Mally. I can debate that idea because the manager needs his players to win in his plan. Well, I think all managers have a chart and they'll pick out games where they think that they can get all maximum points from. Just like you were on about with against Fulham other day, Kieran.
Yeah. If you're down the bottom there, I mean, you target games that you need to win. But however, it doesn't matter how you do it. right? Because the style of play doesn't matter when you're battling relegation. If we're playing, say, Bournemouth now at the beginning of the season, we'd play completely different than what we're going to do now. Now is about getting something out of that game, like we did against Fulham. It was horrible to watch, really horrible. But he nicked an own goal and he took the 3 points, and that 3 points is massive at this moment in time. You know, if you played like that first game of the season against Fulham, oh my God, I'd be throwing things at the telly. What are you doing? That's disgusting. But it's not about that now. This is about survival. How you play doesn't matter.
Points is what it's all about. Points is what it's all about. Lawrence Watkins having a director of football does not silence the coach. No, it don't. It doesn't silence the coach. No, they should work together. 35 points should be enough, according to Mally.
Yeah.
We are not scary enough for other clubs.
No.
We're not scary enough for other clubs. I don't think other
well,
clubs fear us.
You say that, Mandy, but I'm scared of playing Leeds near the end of the season in case we need 3 points. That would scare me. You know, there's no guarantees there being Leeds either. So I'm hoping we got it done before we get to play you.
Mally, 35 is too low for me. The manager needs his type of players to execute his setup. I think that's why a sporting director and what will be happening when a sporting director comes into Tottenham. Daniel Levy likes to be involved in everything. So Daniel Levy will be telling the sporting director what sort of football he wants Tottenham to be playing. Then it's down to the sporting director to find that attack-minded, defensive-minded, manager. And then that's how it works. It's the Paratici coming before Conte, but they've both worked previous clubs at Juventus. So that's why Paratici brought in Conte. The way I see it, Lawrence, is if all the bottom four lose their games, 30 will be enough, but there will be some draws in there. Hiya, Michael. Hope you're doing well, mate. Hope you're doing well. Kieran, has your attitude softened towards David Moyes with West Ham reach the semi-final of the Europa Conference League? As most people are raving about how good West Ham performance was versus Ghent.
No, it hasn't softened, Michael. I still want him gone. Absolutely want him gone because, like I say, this time of year, it doesn't matter what the entertainment value is of the team. This is about trying to win a trophy and staying in the Premier League. But we've been having this attitude from early on in the season with Moyes, and it's been horrible. And it's not been an enjoyable season. And a lot of it has been down to his tactic. So he's just not the style of manager I want at West Ham. I want to enjoy it. When we start a season, I want to start enjoying it. Win or lose. It's not about finishing top 4 or whatever. I'm not bothered. It's would I pat Moyes on the back if he can go and win this Conference League? Yeah, well done. Well done. He done well. But I still want him gone. I want a new, progressive, entertaining manager coming in who's got a vision for the future. And I think Arsenal done it with Arteta, and I want to see that at West Ham. I don't want one of the old school dinosaurs. I don't want them. I want to see a good manager come in to build a team, because West Ham are still going to be in a lot of transition next year. We've got a lot of players at the end. You know, Antonio's getting on, Cresswell's getting on. You know, we're going to lose Declan Rice. We've got to bring in good recruitment and a good manager that plays entertaining football and attacking style football. So yeah, I know what we're not getting that with Moyes, whatever happens. So I'd rather he'd be gone and say thank you very much, David. You know, it's not personal, but I'd rather have someone else. Bye-bye.
Kieran, I want to ask you 2 questions. First of all, have you got a manager in line? who you'd like to see coming through the West Ham door? And also, the second part of that question is, do you trust the board to back the manager who you want to come in?
I can't trust the board on anything, so because they're pretty clueless. But I've been wanting, before Moyes turned up, I wanted Big Ange Postecoglou, but he went to Celtic, and he's been tearing it up at Celtic ever since. Looks like he's going to win the league quite easily again this year. Everywhere he's been, he's won trophies. Everywhere. Is that a risk to bring him to the Premier League? Yes, it is. He may perform, he may not. But what he will give you, and everywhere he's been, he's given you, even when he took over the Brisbane Roar here, he gave you entertaining, attacking style football. And if anyone wants to do that, just go and watch the highlights of Celtic every week. Watch the goals they're scoring. Look at their attacking play. He's brought a couple of Japanese boys over here because he won the league in Japan. And they're dynamite. They're attacking. They're scary. They're good. They scored lots of goals. And it's good. It's enjoyable. Whether he could step up to the Premier League and do it, I don't know. But I don't see why not. Because he's just done it everywhere he's been.
And I do think he'll bring the fans back on side, back closer to
he'll have the
fans feeling at the part of it.
Well, this is the thing. He went to Celtic. Now, Celtic, regardless of what anyone thinks of the Scottish League, they're a massive world club. Massive. And when he turned up there, apart from all the Scottish here in Australia, because we know him quite well, Big Ange, they didn't know who he was. Who's he? What are we doing? You know? To me, he was smart. I went, they got him. I wanted him at West Ham. And they didn't know who he was. And now they never want him to leave. They don't want him to leave because they're enjoying it week in, week out, scoring goals, winning games. They're going to win the league. I think they might win a cup as well. So, the boys just doing a great job for him. They love him. And that's what I'd like to have seen at Big Ange at West Ham, because I think West Ham supporters would be the same. Who's he? Before he went to Celtic, this is. Who the hell's he? What's he ever done? Well, I know he's done a lot. And I think him with a couple of years at West Ham, they'd love him. They would say, yeah, this is a great manager. Not a great manager, but he's got a team out there that I'm enjoying watching every week. Whether we win anything or not, doesn't matter to me. He would bring the smiles back on your face. Let's put it that way.
I agree. Brother Lawrence says the director of football selects the manager you believe in, and you select the players that support the manager's vision. I agree with that, Brother Lawrence. And he agrees with you, does Lawrence? Geezer for West Ham manager. That's Brother Lawrence. Too many compliments to you from Brother Lawrence.
Wait, Lawrence. Trouble is, Lawrence, I'd have 8 up front. And so I do the opposite of boys. Instead of 8 defenders, I'd have 8 attackers, mate. We could concede quite a few goals if I was manager.
And sod having a goalkeeper on bench, you just have three midfielders and 2 strikers.
Oh man.
Brother Lawrence has never trust the board. Never trust them.
Well, I just don't think they've got the vision. They haven't got the vision or foresight to pick a manager, that's up and coming somewhere in the world, or, they haven't got the vision, mate. All they know is a bloke managed before at some club in the Premier League. The usual lot,
Lee drinking that soda like I pounded beers back in my day, laughing his head off. Soda means pop, Lee, in America. If West Ham wins the trophy and stays up, I'm sure the fans will be happy. On the flip side, I think it will also save Moyes' job. Moyes said that he wants to go out on a high.
Yeah, there's rumours that there was a meeting and an agreement that he's leaving at the end of the season. But whether that's true or not, Stu, I don't know. But I think it would be perfect for him to leave if we did win that trophy. And still, again, we're still a long way from doing it. And that's why his press conference annoyed me, because even this, we've done brilliant. We've 2 semi-finals in a row. That's very well. But if you lose again in this semi-final, what does that? Is that it? you can only get us to a semi-final. We want to get to the final. You know, I'll accept losing in the final, but nobody remembers who lost in the semi-final. No one. No one cares. It means absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing then. Your season, if you lose this semi-final, then your season isn't anything. It's a terrible season. But he wants to project it, just getting to the semi-finals, a brilliant season. I don't think it is. If you're in a cup competition, and I'd imagine the likes of Roy Keane and Souness will tell you the same. No one cares that you got to a semi-final.
Yeah,
No one cares.
There's no point entering a tournament if you just want to get into the semi-final. It's pointless.
It's pointless. He might pat himself on the back for that. Fine, you do that. You look at what you've done for us. You got to 2 semi-finals, couldn't get it over the line. That's how I see it. It's not something to be applauded. You've done well. Now do the next step. Like the next step that you've never done in your career as a manager. Try and do it this time, because you will not get a better chance than now. I've said this for a while. In this competition, if ever Moyes wanted a competition that's easier to win than any other cup competition he's been in, it's this one. And if you can't do it here, then that's you. We know you're never going to do it.
Yeah, I agree. And especially, I don't honestly believe you've been troubled up to this point of this competition. And rightly so, we've been a Premier League club,
Exactly.
and I still think. I mean, I watched the Fiorentina game. They just scraped through.
Yeah,
AZ Alkmaar, it needed penalties to beat Anderlecht to get through. So to me, there's no reason why West Ham can't go on and win the competition.
There isn't a reason, no. It's down to them players, and it's down to Moyes. It's there to be taken. So at least get to that final. Get to that final, and that would be an achievement. But winning it is the achievement. At the end of the day, losing the final is a hard thing to take, and so hopefully they can carry on and do it. I don't see why they shouldn't. I'll tell you what, Big Manny, funny you see that 2-3-5. I'll tell you that there are when you watch Liverpool when they're really on the front foot and going for it, and you watch Man City, that isn't far off what they play, because they just leave 2 at the back because they don't care. They just put everyone going forward, and they just put 2 centre halves at the back until they lose the ball. Then everyone retreats. But it isn't far off that.
It's a good point. Lawrence is laughing, and Big Mally said 2-3-5 works well for Don Revie. And then Tom Rogers says, to me, having a director of football / manager splits means 2 different egos are involved. I'd prefer to see Leeds put the manager back in charge, but with a technical department to assist, etc. Like what Brighton do, you mean, Tom?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Tom says that he'd love to see the 2-3-5 make a comeback.
Absolutely.
Michael says, I watched AZ Alkmaar versus Anderlecht match, and both teams looked very poor. Anderlecht conceded sloppy goals, and Alkmaar at times struggled to break them down. Either team could have won. Yeah, so
I would have rather played Anderlecht than the Alkmaar, because we played them and done them before without too much bother. Alkmaar are a little bit of an unknown quantity to us, so Anderlecht would have been fine. But there you go. And who was it?
Get to the final. West Ham have a greater chance to get to the final than they did last year against Frankfurt. Honestly, Michael, I think West Ham, if Cresswell didn't get sent off in that first game, second game on it, he got sent off in the return leg Frankfurt.
Yeah, early doors.
I think West Ham would have reached that final.
We had a chance, even though, like I say, every team we played in Europe this year, Frankfurt are far better than all of them. You know,
Yeah.
they were a Europa League team. They were good. And it was tough. But Cresswell, sort of sealed it once he got sent off. You know, we're on the back foot there. He couldn't get it over the line. But they are a decent side. You know, if I was playing Frankfurt again in his semi-final, I'd be going, ooh, I wouldn't be confident. You know, but we're not. We're playing some, middle of the table club that I know they're doing well this year, but they're no big deal, mate. They shouldn't be. We shouldn't be looking at these teams and going, oh, we've got to go over there and get a draw, or like we did against Ghent. I couldn't understand that. We should have gone there and just blew them away in the first leg, like we did in the second leg. But there you go.
And he follows up by saying, I have to say, and this is from a Leeds fan, so this is high praise indeed. I have to say it's one of the best West Ham performances I've seen. That Declan Rice goal was special. Yeah,
it sure was, Michael. It was an absolute cracker, wasn't it? I like the way he done it at the end. I mean, he won the tackle to get the ball, which he was doing all night, putting his boot in and just nicking ball off players. He won that, and then done a 50-meter run. But I love the way right at the end, and I was hoping he was going to do it. But I just didn't think he had it in him to bring the centre half. He took a touch to the right. He made the centre half spin and then brought it back to the left. And I knew then that he's going to get this shot away, because once the centre half goes that way, he hasn't got the time to spin back and get in front of you. So the quick touch to the right, a touch to the left, he had the centre half done. And then hit a decent shot into the corner. The great goal. Love
it. Lawrence Watkins says, no debate that this is our Premier League performance have been pitiful, and we are doing well in inferior tournament. The tournament, not Champions or Europa. Take the cup, but this year has been underperforming.
Of course.
I agree with that, Lawrence. I do.
Totally,
I agree with that.
We've underperformed all season.
Right. Well,
Jesus.
Right. This is what Big Mally says. Right back, left back, right holding, central holding, left holding.
No, right half. He's got right half, centre half, and left half. Right wing, centre forward. What's the IL?
Is that into that word where it's
inside left? Oh, it's inside left and inside right.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going back. He's going back now. When he inside left and inside right.
Yeah, centre forward, inside left, LWs. I'm assuming that's left wing. Go on, to work that out. Yeah. How did we do, Mally? How did we do, mate? I think we did all right.
We got it.
Alkmaar have an Australia goalkeeper, Matt Ryan.
Oh.
He's on loan from Arsenal, isn't he, Michael? I think he's on loan from Arsenal.
I was wondering that, mate. I saw it. He saved the penalties, didn't he, Matt Ryan? I went, shit, got Matt Ryan in there. We know him quite well here from Australia. So, I couldn't believe he was there. I went, oh, wow. And you think he's on loan from Arsenal, Gator? Is that where he's? Is that where he's based?
I think so. I could be wrong. Spot on, lads. That was Revy's formation. I knew that Revy played some wild football with Mally. But I'm sure. Let me just double check that for you. I'm sure Matt Ryan's the keeper who they got. No, is it Turner they got from Arsenal? Is it Turner?
Like Michael said, I remember him at Brighton, Matt Ryan. Yeah, he's a decent. He's not a bad keeper, man. Pretty good.
I typed in Matt Ryan and it's come up with a bloody actor.
All right.
And got Matt Ryan goalkeeper. Let's have a look. Let's see where he's played. Right, Matt Ryan has played at his citizenship is Australia and Scotland. He's played at Brighton, Arsenal. Yeah, he was an Arsenal keeper.
Wow,
he was an Arsenal keeper. He's played for Valencia, Genk. He's played at Genk. Real Sociedad, FC Copenhagen, and AZ Alkmaar.
He's been about, hasn't he? Jesus Christ.
Spot on, lads. That was very so much. No, he's not on loan from Arsenal. He played. Matt Ryan played at Arsenal in. He joined. Sorry, he joined. He joined Arsenal from Brighton in 2021. He left Arsenal to go to. He left Arsenal to go to Real Sociedad. So he got sold from Arsenal to Brighton. He left Brighton to join Real Sociedad. Then he went from Real Sociedad to SC Copenhagen, and then from SC Copenhagen to SC Alkmaar. £500,000 he went for.
Wow. Wow, and like I say, his penalty save got him to a semi-final, so he's paid that back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, really, you know, he's yeah, he joined market when he were at Arsenal, his market value was 6 million.
Shit, he's done well.
Yeah, yes. He hasn't, you know. So AC Alkmaar, where are they based, Kieran? What club?
In Holland, aren't they? In Eredivisie or they're Dutch, I think.
Dutch team.
Yeah, I think they're doing quite well in the league. I think they might be up at third or fourth spot, something like that. They're having a good season, apparently.
Wow. Well, look, so before we start wrapping up, Kieran, for you, mate, can you do me a favour? Give me a score prediction for Fulham v Leeds.
Fulham versus Leeds. Well, like I said, you've got to. I'm going to go 2-2.
Lee?
Yeah.
Fulham v Leeds, please.
Leeds win probably 4-0 Leeds, 4-0.
You weren't that confident when you came down to see me tonight before you went upstairs to watch the Arsenal game. You said it was going to be tight, you told me, Lee. You told me it was going to be tight.
Apart from them 4 goals, it's going to be pretty tight.
I'm gonna go 2-2 as well. I think we'll get a draw. I really do. I think Fulham will score, but you know, because the reason why I'm saying 2-2 is because we concede on average 2 every game. Yeah. So that's my method of thinking.
Yeah, a point to stem the pain. A point is not a bad result. Away to Fulham, you know. It's not the worst, but it'd be nice if you could get 3 points. My word, that would go a long way, a really long. How many points you on now, Stu? What are you on?
20. I have my table up. Then where is it? Where's it gone? 20. Is it 20? 29? 27? Is it? Let me just double check.
29, isn't it?
29.
Late.
29 points. Yeah, we're on 29. 18. Nottingham Forest were 18 for on 27.
See, if my calculations are right, which they may or may not be, you need 2 wins and a draw.
Speaking about calculations, before we go on to the next one, I want everyone in chat to put their lead scores in as well. Their Fulham v Leeds score. We've got some good comments. You know, when you with that spreadsheet I did. Yeah. I know for a fact somebody watched it back 3 times and he says he's never laughed so much in his entire life.
Oh yeah. Who suffered through that 3 times?
Can't remember his name, but I know he watched it 3 times.
Really?
He watched it 3 times. Yeah, I'll let you know his name now.
Yeah,
I'll actually get comment up on the screen for you. So yeah, he watched it 3 times, and he says he's never laughed so much in his entire life. So yeah, So
Yeah.
it cheered some people up. It really did
Yeah,
cheer
that's
some
the
people up.
idea. As much as it was bloody hard work, it was funny. It was brilliant. Yeah, I had a laugh with it. I enjoyed it.
Here we go. And it won't. And I'm gonna right. I'm gonna. Hang on a minute. Let's make it bigger so everyone can see it. Right. Here we go. Right. Present. Share screen. Share screen. No, that one. It's that one. Share. Right. So, here we go. Lee LUFC. Big up, lads. This was comedy gold. Loved it. I've watched it 3 times now, laughing my head off, and forgot about the result. 6 points a win. Wow. Lovely hammers, lads, too.
Bloody nice comment. That's lovely, Lee. Well done.
Yeah.
Because, it was after that horrible result you had. So I'd say it did get us away from that, didn't it, talking about that night. So, yeah, it was good. I had a laugh with it. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, so so people that have been watching it, right, Brother Lawrence says 3-1 Leeds. Tom says 2-2 would be a great result. I'll take it now, Tom.
Yeah.
Just for info, Stu. Fullbacks were Reaney and Cooper. Halfbacks were Bremner and Charlton and Hunter. Forwards were Laurie McClark, Jones, Giles, and Gray.
Yeah. That's the team I remember. That's the team I remember well. Lorimer, what a shot that boy had on him. My word. He'd break a net, that boy. Break the net with it. Mick Jones.
Doing well.
Mick Jones. Do you remember when was it Mick Jones he tried to cross the ball in and smashed his shoulder? I think he dislocated his shoulder. And they in the FA Cup final, and they just strapped him up and kept playing it because they couldn't bring on him. Unbelievable, man. Yeah, how things have changed.
Well, that Benderack today for Southampton at first half. He went down. He landed awkwardly on his neck and on his shoulder, and he looked like he went out. He looked like he went out. He wanted to come back on pitch. He wanted to come back on pitch, but doctors said no.
All right.
Well, both doctors, the Southampton doctor and the Arsenal doctor, said no, and he still was adamant he wanted to play because when you're knocked out, you don't know you've been knocked out.
No, I've been concussed a couple of times playing on. I remember one here at Surfers. I went for a header with a guy, mate, and we both went for the full Monty header and hit each other. I was out for about a minute, and then got up and I staggered around for the rest of the game, 25 minutes. I can't even remember it. I can't even remember that 25 minutes later. You know, I definitely had a concussion. My best one though, injury-wise, Stu. I played a game there before I came to Australia, and it was January, freezing. We didn't know if the game would go ahead because the pitch is basically now unfrozen. But we played, and I went for a ball with my right foot, and my left foot gave way, right, and I went up in the air, and as I landed, I didn't know, but I hit my wrist on the icy ground, and I'd snapped it. Oh. And this was in the first 10 minutes. I played the rest of the game, and it was swelling up as the game went on. And I scored a header, near the end, like to get a point. And and then I went to the pub, had a few beers, and it's swollen up so much after I left the pub, went shit. So I had to go. I went to the hospital, and they X-rayed it, and I'd fractured the wrist. So we had them tough then, Stu. We were tough then. Look at this rubbish we see now rolling around, all crying.
I know it wasn't a football. I know you didn't play football league, but do you want to tell everybody what happened when you fell off that wall? You fell off the wall. What did we go do? Went to Crayford Effa.
Oh yeah.
We played pool. About 5 or 6 games in, he says, "Damn, my wrist's hurting." Took him to hospital. He broke his wrist.
Yeah, there you go. Now what? Well done, Lee.
He didn't show pain. And it's like when receptionists say, "What's wrong with him?" I say, "I don't know." So leave cats on. I don't know what's wrong with him. He says if he says his head's hurting or his belly's hurting, he can't say what sort of pain it is. He ended up carrying on playing bloody pool.
What?
Took him to hospital, broke his wrist.
You don't know your wrist from your belly, Lee? Is that what you're saying? You know what? Where the pain's coming from?
He's got pins in his wrists to play it together.
Oh, right, that man.
Yeah. He had sort of pins putting in his wrist.
The only thing I was happy about that they gave me the first time. There was a fiberglass cast they put me in. I went, wow, these are good, nice and light, brilliant. That's the first time they ever had them. Right,
brilliant. Amani saying 2-1 Leeds. Lee, she's up with you. Well, you've gone 4-0, haven't you?
Yeah.
If that result comes in, Lee, I'll give you some money myself. If that result comes in, not me. Oh yeah, Inky won't ever give he won't ever predict a Leeds United score. He won't do it.
Won't do what?
He won't predict a Leeds United score.
All right, gotcha. Fair enough.
2-0 Fulham because I'm always wrong. I'm glad you've said that, Mally, and not me, mate. I'm glad I didn't have to tell you that.
This week you'd be happy being wrong, Mally, wouldn't you, if it goes the other way?
Oh, yeah. 3-1 Fulham, unfortunately, but I hope Leeds can pull off a surprise. Imagine us doing this show, right, and you're in Premier League and Leeds are in Championship.
Yeah, that's not what we want, is it?
Well, I don't know how we could talk about the games. You'll be talking about Premier League level, and I'll be talking about the Championship. Show will go on for about 5 hours.
I know, and plus, with the streams I've got here, I don't get the Championship. I can see an odd, highlight on YouTube, but I don't have the game, so I can't even check them out, or the highlight show of all the games. So that would make it awkward, yeah.
I've found a way of sharing my screen when it comes to watching football matches. So don't you worry, Kieran, you won't get away with it. If I have to watch Championship football, so do you. Honestly, we'll be sharing that screen. I tell you.
I'll tell you what, though. When I do go to the YouTube and they come up, and I just look, all right, I'll watch that. There's some really good, exciting highlights to watching them games, isn't there, in the Championship? Really enjoyable.
Burnley's been as well. Burnley have been fantastic, and
absolutely,
I'm excited to see what company can do at Burnley in Premier League.
It's like anything, isn't it, Stu? It depends on the investment once he moves up. It's all about that, isn't it? Forest have proven that. Look where they are. Leeds done well first season, second season, just about. And it's all about the investment, isn't it? No matter how good the manager is, I think, when you come up from the Championship, you've got to upgrade in a few spots. Keep a nucleus, but you need to upgrade to keep going, I think. No, and maybe he will. Maybe he'll get the money.
Someone in chat will tell me this, but I think he's got Goodmanson playing. Is it Goodmanson or Johnson playing at centre back? This time round in Burnley, he's about 37, 36-year-old.
I did see him the other day on one of them highlights, Stu. I saw the Goodmanson. I went, Jesus, I haven't heard that name for a while, but do you know, I was thinking about that, maybe a source for topic one day. You could research it, Stu. Because I think as fans, we seem to write off players really quickly when they hit the age of 32. Right?
Yeah.
And West Ham have done it with Ogbonna before and with Cresswell. But yeah, when I start watching all these European matches and you see some of the age of them players that are still playing at top level, like Modric and Casemiro and there was a lot. I was just looking at a few of them, especially the Champions League games. These guys, are at an age that are 35, 30, and still playing at the highest level. So it'd be interesting to get a list of all them top players that are still going and still performing, and say, are we getting a bit ageist here? He's 32. We panic. You've got to get rid of him, because some of them are still playing brilliant football and doing a job at the age of 35 and onwards. So it'd be an interesting debate, that one.
Well, I'm sure if there were any Spurs fans in chat, which clearly they ain't because they don't watch talent like you, but right, if there were any Spurs fans in this chat, they would say we'd take Modric back tomorrow. They would.
Yeah, it's still quality, man. Still quality.
Yeah, he could still get it in Premier League, and he's getting on. Bless him.
He's getting on.
Your body, isn't it? It's how you look after your body.
Yeah, exactly. Look at Ronaldo. Yeah, even Messi. They're still doing it. I know Ronaldo just left for Saudi Arabia or whatever, but at their age they were doing it. You think, wow. But there's loads of others. You know, I noticed them. You know, called it Dzeko, Muller. They're at an age, but they're still playing at the very top level in Champions League football. Yeah. It's quite amazing.
And Muller's still winning titles in Bundesliga with Bayern Munich. Still winning titles.
I'm saying. So maybe we may write these people off because of their age a bit too soon. With some who need pace, you can say, yeah. You know, maybe like Vardy now, you can see that he's not as effective as he was because the pace was a major part of his game. But some of these defenders as well, a midfielder, don't necessarily need blistering pace. They've got the skill, they got the knowledge, they got the talent, they got the flair, and defenders the same. They can be. You can play as a defender, I think, a lot older than you can, especially centre half, than most other positions in the pitch.
That's very true. Lawrence is saying Lee is my man. Lee's a trooper. Apparently, King Charles is a Burnley fan. We'll tap him up for some money then.
Yeah, I'll give it a few quid.
Yeah. Thiago Silva at Chelsea's class. He is.
Thiago, yeah. Here's another one. Varane. He's getting on.
He's still doing it.
Casemiro.
How old's Casemiro? He must be getting on now.
He must be. He can't be young, can he? He can't be young.
I would have thought so. Casemiro.
Mate, there's a load of them, and I just noticed them. The names you haven't seen. When I started watching, highlights in the Champions League, bloody hell, he's still playing, and he still looks good. It's amazing how many there are, especially in Europe.
Yeah, he must be getting on Casemiro, bless him. He must be. Messi was Messi winning the World Cup at 35.
Exactly, Michael. Exactly. See, and I'm sure if you looked into it, how many others are 35 plus? If because I saw a load of them, with that last round of Champions League. I went, wow. And it just came into my head. Why do we write players off at 32 when these guys can do it at 35 and in Champions League football? Not some, Saudi Arabia like Ronaldo's done now or some third division side. They're still doing it at the very highest level. And you go, wow. So, yeah, I think we do.
And Ronaldo's still producing at 37 years of age. I'm just going to get this comment in before I go back to other people. Brother Lawrence says, as to run your crazy mates, thank you. I will be cheering Leeds this weekend, but cheering West Ham a hell of a lot more. Before you go, Lawrence, what West, if you aren't already gone, your West Ham and your Bournemouth game, what score prediction are you going for that? Benzema is 35-year-old Karim Benzema for Real Madrid. Yeah,
that's the one, Michael. I saw it the weekend. Yeah, or the other day. Yeah, it was Benzema. I went, wow, look, he's still going. He's 35. Because the commentator made a point of saying, no, I think Modric is 35. You know what I mean? And Benzema. And there was another guy in there at 37. Forget who it was. Maybe for Real Madrid, I'm not sure. And I was, God, they're still doing it, man. Still quality.
Well, that'll be my homework for next Friday. Next Friday show, I'll draw up a list of who's what age. Italian defenders only get better with age. Look at Maldini, Nesta, Benucci, Dlini,
Yeah.
all same as Oggy.
Okay, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Hammer, because and Hammer don't know this. A couple of years ago, people were writing off Ogbonna, completely writing him off because he's too old. He's been absolutely brilliant in them last couple of years since he got back from that injury. He's been superb for us. Is he a bit slower these days? Yeah, but as a defender, mate, he's got the knowledge, he's got the experience, and he's got the positioning. He's still a good centre halfman.
Ogbonna is one of them players where even when he retires, I still think he could offer so much experience to these young kids coming through at West Ham. You know, I mean, get him in coaching staff. I mean, I tell you what, I'm a bit not disappointed with, that's the wrong word, but as a defender who's really disappointed me for West Ham, and that's Never Gued. I don't think he's quite to the expectations as what the West Ham fan base thought he was going to, especially after his World Cup he had.
Yeah, I think it's just been a bit disappointing lately. I'm hoping that's just a bit of lack of confidence, and he made a few mistakes there, cost us goals. But I do believe he's a quality defender, and I think he'll come good. I think he will. When the confidence gets back up, this could be all it's about. When he gets the settled centre half that he plays with, which has been mixed around all the time. It really has. So, you're playing with different people nearly every week. He's either got Kera, or he's got Bonner, or he's got Zuma. So I reckon he'll come good in the end. Right? He'll be a good defender.
Tony Cruz is 37.
Yeah, was the other one, Hammerhead. That's the other boy I saw. Real Madrid, wasn't it? Tony Cruz, 37. Wow, it's unbelievable, man. This is Real Madrid. Yeah, exactly.
He's got the brain. He has got the brain.
It helps with pace. Let's not get it right. It does help, but he has got the brain, mate.
Olivier Giroud at 36, AC Milan into semi-finals of Champions League.
These boys in the chat are just confirming everything I'm saying. Brilliant, lads. Thank you. But yeah, that was another one I saw. Giroud, 36. And he missed a penalty. But he still scored. He still scored, though. No.
Another player as well. Oh, gosh. Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
Big Zlatan.
Yeah, even Zidane wasn't no spring chicken when he left it, was he? He was right up there.
Well, he had a right ball patch on his head, didn't he?
So
yeah, but I bet he was close to 40.
Yeah. I just believe.
I got enough. I got enough for you now, am I?
He's got to be up there, hasn't he? He's got to be up there, Lewandowski. He's been around. He seems to have been around forever.
Giroud won the league last year with Milan. I'm not sure. I trust your knowledge, Ahmed. I believe if Ahmed's saying that Inter Milan would see Premier League last season, 2022, 2021 to 22 season. I think that, hang on a minute, let's have a look. Results, AC Milan 2021-2022. I want to see the table, don't I? I want to see the tables. No, I don't want to bing anything. I want to see the table. I think you probably are right. I'm ahead. AC Milan table. Select team. That's this season. This season, according to BBC, they're actually fifth. But yeah, I think you might be right. Juventus got awarded their points back, didn't they? After getting them taken off them for match fixing or whatever, alleged match, your dealings.
Yeah.
You can't tell. 2022 to 2023. No, I want 2021 to 20. This is the problem when you go looking for English football. Season 2021-20 is coming up with this. 2021-2022 season. You're right. AC Milan won it. Inter Milan was second. Napoli third. Juventus were fourth. They played 38, won 26, drew 8.
There you go. How many goals?
31. Goals difference 38. 86 points as well. Lewandowski is 34-year-old. So he's in footballing terms, that's getting on. But yeah, you're right. I'm ahead. Lewandowski is 34-year-old. So there's some good players coming through. There's some really, really good players coming through. Right, let's get into West Ham. Let's get into the West Ham Bournemouth game, shall we? Are you at home, Kieran, for Bournemouth game?
No, it's away at Bournemouth.
Away. Right, so yeah. Bournemouth v West Ham. Lee, score prediction.
For Bournemouth West Ham. Probably 3-1 to Bournemouth.
Thanks, Lee. There goes West Ham. Good job. It's coming to the end of the show. So West Ham fans will be jumping ship now.
What is he 3-1 Bournemouth?
Yeah.
Oh, he's putting the boot in again, isn't he? He's putting the boot in again.
Yeah.
Lee, what did you predict at Arsenal? Did you say they were beating us 4-0 or something? Is that what you said? Yeah. Oh, right. I gave you a lot of draw as well. Right.
I'm gonna go 1-0 in that game, West Ham and Bournemouth. I think it'll be 1-0 draw.
Do you know, my head says that, Stuart, that it's going to be a draw. That's what my head says. But because of my little plan, and it all worked out up until now, and I said Bournemouth was a crucial game. I didn't expect a point at Arsenal. It's the only thing I've sort of got wrong. But I said that was the game we need to win, and that's I'd say. So I'm going to stick with that. I think we'll beat them 2-1. I think we'll win 2-1, and more or less, by another win, secure. I think once we get that win under our belt, and I think that puts us on 34 points. Like, we just need to pick up a couple of points after that, in my head anyway. So another win somewhere, lovely. So, but I think Bournemouth is crucial. Crucial not to lose. But I'm going to stick with, my head's saying 1-0, but my heart, I'm going to stick with my plan. We're going to beat them 2-1. So I'm going to go 2-1.
It all depends on what David Moyes is putting his game down.
Yeah,
if this is a must-win match, David Moyes will get the win. If it's a must-not-lose match, David Moyes will go for bloody draw. You know what I mean? It depends on how David Moyes is looking at this game.
It's all about that, Stu. You know, I mean, until you see the team selection, until you see the setup, it's really, I think West Ham are the hardest team to predict what score is going to be. Because it really does depend on that. You know, if he takes the shackles off like he did against Ghent, and especially that second half against Arsenal, I think we go beat them. I think we do them. You know, but he doesn't like taking risks, Moyes. You know, he likes to try and secure the draw first, and then maybe nick a win. If he goes that way, then the favourite is a draw, and that's probably why that's my head saying he will do that. And it will be a draw.
Tom Rogers says Gordon Strachan and Mervyn Day were quite old.
Yeah, Strachan. Oh. I think Billy Bonds went to he was about 40. Stu, I think he was about 40 years of age when he's retired. Maybe older.
And now, Kieran, with all the scientists and all these nutrologists with all foods and stuff, you know, they seem to be able to get a lot longer out of a player than what they could.
I think so.
Well, you used to go to a pub and have a fuck and a pint, didn't you, when you won a game back in them days?
Yeah, that's right. I don't think our mindset's changed because, like I say, most times back in 70s and 80s, you know, that they weren't on super diets and they were smoking and drinking and doing all sorts, weren't they? So they weren't, you know, the fittest professionals in the world. By the time they're 32 and playing on them pitches as well, just, you know, mud patches, they're probably knackered. But these days, with all the scientific research they've got into keeping them fit and fit, I think we should look at the age then. It ain't 32 anymore. This is my point. It's probably 35 when, you know, they start to decline. You know, we know pace always declines, but the amount of play and how they can form, their quickness of thought, it's still there at 35. So, and I say all them boys that the lads in the chat there threw up there, to me proves that. And like I say, they're not just playing in some team that's a second division team. They're playing in the Champions League for the top teams in the world at 35 and 37. There's something to be said about that.
Michael Brown says that he's looking forward to the Women's Football World Cup taking place in New Zealand and Australia in July.
It is, mate. I'm being bombarded with the adverts here already. Yeah, it's going to be a big thing for New Zealand, Australia. That I probably won't watch much of it though, Michael. I don't mind watching the highlights of women's football, but I struggle to watch a full game. It's I think it's tough to watch.
I recall Mervyn Gay even had grey in hair. Well, I can't say, Tom. I started growing grey in my late 20s.
Yeah.
You know, I put that down to stress. But so this is that I've never been in a stressful situation in this since I've known her. So it can't be stress. I recall. Big Valley saying 2-1. Sorry, Kieran.
It's all right, mate.
Right. Bournemouth.
I remember you and Lee. Don't like that.
You know, they are a good side, but
mate, I'll tell you now.
They can do it.
Look, you know what it's like this time of season, mate. All three results are possible in that game, aren't they? We could beat them, we could draw, we could lose. I know that, you know, because I really rate Bournemouth. I don't believe Bournemouth are going down at all. No. So I think they're fine. And they're good to watch, man. They're dangerous. They're dangerous. They counter-attack really quick, and we could struggle against them. And that's why I think Moyes might be more cautious. But they are a good side, mate. And they deserve to stay up. They really do.
Hammerhead says Giroud got 11 goals in the Serie A last season and 8 goals this season, and he's 36-year-old.
Yeah, and he's keeping Lukaku out of the team, isn't he? Lukaku's on the bench because of Giroud. That tells you something, doesn't it?
Lee Chapman as well, now I think of it, well into his 30s, wasn't he?
Yeah, I remember that boy, Lee Chapman. Yeah.
My man is going 2-0 Hammers. 3-1 West Ham, we're going on the run now.
You'd like to think so, Ahmed, wouldn't you, after the 2 performances against Arsenal and Ghent? We'd love to keep that going. Really would. It would be nice. Be enjoyable.
Sheringham retired at West Ham at 42-year-old.
There you go.
He was quite Stan Bowles used to go to the bookies on the day he was playing for QPR and put a bet on.
Yeah. He was murder, wasn't he, Michael? I loved that boy. I used to love QPR because of Stan Bowles. He was such a character, man. Such a boy. What a player, too. He really was. Mad gambler, yeah.
Yeah, Michael's just corrected us. Lukaku plays for Inter Milan. Whereas...
is it Inter? Oh, sorry. Got that wrong then.
Well, it's a team, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bournemouth are in good form, beating Tottenham in the last minute and winning away to Leicester the week before. They've had a good, the most informed team down in bottom 5, I think, or 6 or whatever, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
Thanks for correcting us, Michael. Does West Ham have season? Hang on. Does West Ham have a sizable support outside East London? People from East London.
Well, the way London's set up, so is East London and Essex is you know, you go out from East London and then you come into Essex. So our probably major support these days comes from Essex, from that camp, because a lot of people, old East London, have moved out to Essex. You know, all the old East London boys have moved from there. All my mates have and live at, you know, Hornchurch, Elm Park, Upminster. They've all moved out that way. So there's a massive fan base in Essex, which is a continuation of East London, if you like. You know, so that's where our biggest support base is, East London and Essex.
What about worldwide? Kieran?
We're dotted about. We've got to be surprised. When I went to the playoff finals here, there was a pub in town. You know, we have to watch it at, you know, midnight or 1 in the morning. There's a pub here that does football matches at that time. And when the playoff finals happened with West Ham getting out of the championship, I went there, and I didn't realise this is Brisbane. And the place was full of West Ham. And it was that game. One was against Palace. There was a handful of Palace supporters there, but the place was mobbed with about 300 West Ham supporters in that pub. You know, and that's just Brisbane. And there is a few dotted around Australia, a few Australians. So not the ridiculous major support that Man United have got, or Liverpool or Celtic. They don't have that. Yeah. But they have got quite a few. We've got an American Hammers. There's a few of them dotted around all America there. But just in a small way. Well. Huh?
You've got the Trinidad Hammers, haven't you? Trinidad.
Yeah.
There's a West Ham fan base in Trinidad.
We got a few in Norway as well, and Sweden. It's just it's a mixture. But like I say, we don't compete with the big lads because they're like a worldwide brand, don't they? That's how they build their brand. But West Ham have got quite a good supporter base, and like I say, we regularly get 55, 60,000 at that stadium. You know. So,
well, Tom thinks that you'll beat West Ham will beat Bournemouth. There you go, Kieran. Come on, the Hammers. Go on, Tom. West Ham was transferred to Nottingham Forest in the late 1970s under Brian Clough, and those two had a massive falling out. And Clough got rid of Boyles.
Oh, did he? I must have forgotten about that, Mike. Did he really? He went to Forest. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all, mate. I don't think Stan Bowles and Brian Clough would get on somehow. There was a goalkeeper I watched as a golf channel. He was playing golf there with it's called Golf Mates. I watch it now and again. Was it Golf Mates or was it the other one? No matter. But anyway, this old goalkeeper that used to play for Nottingham Forest, and he said when he was there, trying to get into the first team, all that. He went to see Brian, see if he had a way into the first team, and Brian Clough called him Jigsaw. So this went on for a couple of months, and he said, "Right, old Jigsaw." In the end, he went, "Look, Brian, why do you keep calling me Jigsaw?" He said, "Oh, when a cross comes in, you fall to pieces." Oh, I thought that was brilliant.
That's funny. Hiya, all the ghosts, mate. Hope you're well. Hope your family are keeping well, mate. Hope you're doing well. Well, look, Kieran, we've come up to 2 hours.
Mate, we've done well. That went quick, sir. That went quick.
Yeah. It's supposed to be an hour show, but who cares? What's the next show among friends? I'm in bed with no sound. Can't wake the missus up. Hope everybody's well. We're all good, thanks, all the ghosts, and we're about to shoot off, mate. We're about to finish. Chat. We've had a really good chat tonight. I think it's been good. I think it's been well. I think it's gone well tonight. I really do. I think.
Really. Absolutely, boy. Yeah, and no spreadsheets. See, no spreadsheets. we haven't laughed as much, but it was a good laugh there. It was.
Morning, all.
And we got on. And with all them bloody predictions we were doing, no, I bet none of us picked bloody Southampton to get a draw tonight, did we? Nah, of course not.
No, nobody. So that were what were it? 2 hours, just under 2 hours of absolute useless tosh. Really?
You really?
Yeah, Holy Ghost. Yeah. Well, look, guys, thank you very much for watching this edition of Disabled Team. Kieran, have you got what you want to add, mate, before we wrap up?
No, mate. Well, good luck to both of us this weekend, mate. Two important games. Massive game for us against Bournemouth. You against Fulham is even bigger, I think. You need to show, a sharp performance. You need a sharp performance. Nick a point, take a win, whatever it is. But I think you need to get something, and I hope you do. I hope Leeds get back on the horse and give it a go.
So do I, because I've got my daddy here tomorrow watching game, and that's going to be
brilliant.
No, it's not brilliant, mate. It's not brilliant.
Oh dear. You never know. It might cheer him up. You have a win, he'll cheer him up.
Yeah, if we have a win, God, beers will be flowing all day and all night. He'll be going home drunk. If we have a win, but I don't think he's got much faith in the American lads, if I'm honest. But I'll speak about that another day. But he hasn't got much faith in the American lads at Leeds. Anyway, Lee, have you got what you want to say before we start wrapping up?
No.
Well, thank you everyone in chat for keeping us going. Thank you, Amanda, for keeping chat safe as always. And until next time, guys, thank you for watching this edition of the Disabled Team. It's a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And a goodbye from me. And thanks to the chat. That was a really good one. Nicely interactive. We'll catch you next week, eh?
Take care, everybody. Take care. See you all on. Well, you'll see them all on Monday, Kieran.
I'll be here Monday. Yeah, we'll suffer again, won't we? Hopefully, we both put smiles on our faces. We'll see.
Yeah. If not, I'll be bloody agreeing with Mrs. again for another week, and that's not good. You know what I mean? Because I haven't been in any mood for arguing, and I love an argument with Mrs. You know what I mean? It keeps it fresh. But I've been agreeing with her too much this week, and I don't like it.
No, that's got to stop. It's madness.
Definitely got to stop. Anyway, guys, take care, and we'll speak to you all soon. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.